She was literally staring down the barrel of a $12,852 tax bill.
Mind on the numbers, heart with the care. If I don't play right.
So I had a client who sat down with me last spring. She opened her email. It's a brand new client we had, and she had her tax estimate from her previous preparer. And she read the number to me and said, I feel sick. I must have done something wrong. She was literally staring down the barrel of a $12,852 tax bill. But guess what? She had not done anything wrong. She had literally just had the best year her practice has ever had. I am Alan Pruitt, CPA and founder of the Therapist CPA. And this channel is for therapists in private practice who want fewer tax surprises and more clarity around their money. Welcome to day 13 of our 30 days to financial clarity for therapists in private practice. So here's what I want you to hear today. And it's something that therapists often run across, but keep this in mind. A tax bill is simply a receipt. It's the math, the arithmetic on the income that you already earned. It's not a performance review. It's not a character assessment. It's simply, just evidence. And guess what? Just because it's a big bill does not mean that you're bad with money. But it feels like all of those things at once. If you worked for a group practice or an agency, guess what? You paid taxes then too. And probably a similar amount sometimes, or maybe it was less. But you just never felt it because it disappeared from every one of your paychecks before you really ever touched it. And so that pain of taxes was spread across 26 invisible slices every single paycheck. But here's the thing, when you are in private practice, nobody's withholding anything. But guess what? It's the same obligation. It just shows up with one huge number if you don't attack it properly. So same tax bill, it's just a completely different emotional experience. And here's the thing, that is not a failure. It's simply this, it's a delivery method problem. So here's the distinction that really matters. And I really want you to think about this and separate these two things in your head because most therapists just naturally have these two things fused together. So the first thing is just owing tax. Like, hey, you earn money, you earn revenue, you owe tax. Guess what? That's normal. Now, how much tax you pay, that can be adjusted and worked on. And, that's what we do here at the Therapist CPA as therapist tax strategists. So how much tax can be, managed if we're being proactive throughout the year. But taxes in general is when you make money, when a business makes money, when a private practice makes money. Because if you owe nothing, it usually means that you didn't earn much. And I promise you that's not the outcome you want. I always say make all the money because guess what? Taxes are never 100%. But the second thing is, and here's the problem, it's being blindsided by the tax that you're paying. That's the hurtful part. That's the emotional part. And guess what? That's really just a planning gap. And that's the part that nobody helped you with. Nobody projected your year out. Nobody told you what to set aside. And so now when you get that $12,852 tax bill, that feels like a ton of bricks hitting you right over the head after you've had a great year. And the way to fix this is very fixable. It's very manageable. So when a tax bill lands, the question is not what did I do wrong? Because I've heard that so many times, like I heard this therapist say that. The useful question is, and was this something that could have been predicted? Was I set up to manage this properly throughout the year? Because as we talked about, when you're, on a W-2 job and you're working somewhere else, well, it's predictable because those taxes are coming out every single check. But if you're not doing a similar system in your private practice, that's how you get beat over the head with a huge tax bill that you weren't expecting. Because guess what? If money was set aside for this and the bill is covered, then the system worked. And that's a win, even though, it doesn't necessarily feel like a win, but it's a win because we're covered, we're paying it as we go, we're setting money aside. Now, if it wasn't set aside, then what we have is an information problem and a set aside problem. But guess what? Both of those have solutions. Neither one of them says anything about you as a business owner or as a clinician. So keep that in mind. So I always tell clients this: that number, that tax number, no matter how ugly it is, it's data. It's not a verdict on you. It's not a verdict on how great you're running your practice. It has nothing to do with that. It is simply data. Now, here's the thing. The client that I had, like, she felt like she was a failure, but she was not. So please keep this in mind. Do not think that that's the case. That number is simply data that we can manage if we're working on it throughout the year. So here's your one thing that I want you to do this week. What was your tax bill from last year? Think about it. Go find it. Do this. Say that number out loud. And then ask yourself one question and one question only. Did I set aside money for this throughout the year? Not how did I let this happen? Not what is wrong with me? Not, oh my gosh, I did something wrong. Just simply ask, did I set aside money for this? And was there a plan? So if there wasn't, then guess what? We can fix that. And at least knowing this is the starting point, and that is a very, very different thing from a failure. So you are not a failure with a large tax bill. We just have to restructure what your year looks like. So if this helped, please subscribe. I put out calm and understandable financial guidance made specifically for therapists like you in private practice. And if you actually never run the numbers on what your practice pays you, then you're in luck, because I have built a free profit per session calculator that really helps you get to know how much you're paying yourself, how much you should pay yourself, how much you're earning, and what you should be setting aside for taxes. And please take a look at it, because most therapists are really surprised. So the link is in the description, and please check it out, because, like the therapist I was talking about, she hadn't done anything wrong. She just had an amazing year, but she just needed a little bit of work. So check out the free profit per session calculator, and I'll see you in our next one. Have a good one.